Welcome back, Pirate Crew. It's your captain, Yeehaw Yadama. For today's video, since we've run out of OP-04 leaders, we're going back and seeing what we can do with the new cards released in OP-04 and how they interact with old leaders. We're starting off with my favorite, my boy, Ace. Yeah, I'm not coping, you're coping. So, I like the deck. Ace has always been a pet deck of mine, a deck that I really enjoy playing, a deck that I was this close to taking to multiple regionals, but it just, you know, I couldn't. I thought it was a little too troll in a meta where it was hyper aggressive, right? Playing as Whitebeard doesn't feel that bad, but playing the Zoro matchup, losing the Radical Beams and the Marcos makes it way too difficult. What that means, though, moving forward for OP-04, is that I believe and I hope and I pray the deck's kind of slowed down. We've had this new influx of blue cards that are very powerful that can help control the board, and if the game slows down just a smidge, well, this deck surely has a shot. Now, this is a list that I've been messing around with. It's a ton of fun. I'll go through my own iteration of how this deck is and what it is, but basically the only new card, Pog, is Pell. And I mean, Pell is really cool. There was one of my favorite interactions in Ace was when I was able to play Nico Robin in the deck way when I was testing it in the beginning. Playing Nico Robin, having Nico Robin stick, playing an Ace way later on in the game, and then using Nico Robin plus Ace to go ahead and KO opponents' characters. That was super duper good and felt really strong. Pell does that, but just a little bit better. The only issue with Pell is that he doesn't have a real dedicated searcher that I'm willing to play in the deck, but he has a 6k stat line attached to it. Not only that, he does KO 4k and higher, which increases the threshold. If you go ahead and you ace on evens, you go like on turn 8, you go ace plus Pell, you can basically remove an entire board state. If you combo out Pell with that, you know, round table, crossfire, any other reduction like Otama, then you've got the makings of a really good mid-game and tempo. Now, what do we give up to play Pell? We give up the 5-drop Marco, which is a powerhouse of a card. That card is an abomination, but it only happens on play, whereas if you can get residual value on Pell, it kind of makes up for it. So let's go with the card by card real quick. I'll give you a little bit of a rundown, and we'll start real quick with the red package. As I've just explained, every time I play a red deck, you kind of shove in Curly D, a choice of Searcher, a secondary choice of Searcher, Otama Makino. It's just good stuff. You got a nice 20 cards right there. Your deck is just boom, 20 cards, 18. You know, I'm not maxing out on the Curly Ds, but if you were, you got a nice easy 20 cards. I'm opting for Izo. Obviously, I want to play the powerful Whitebeard Pirate character cards in the form of Ace and Edward Newgate, as well as the Marco. And honestly, it's mostly for Ace. Ace and Flame Emperor. This card, I was skeptical. I've been skeptical, but I've been convinced. Again, in a slower format, they just go and drop this one big boy, and you're just like, that's crazy. Boom, get the hell out of here. And then it feels really good. So I'm using Izo for that, and then Buggy, obviously, to compensate and find the other events that are very powerful in this deck that I can't search with Izo. Now, that'll including Round Table, and Guard Point and Radical Beam, right? So you could argue that maybe Nami in some way could be here, but there's no way that we can search the Round Table without Buggy. Buggy is still a hell of a card, and honestly, the portrayal and the live action has got me really hyped to play Buggy. So you got Curly D in the bunch, and then the rest of the deck, right? So how did we compensate for the rest of the deck? Well, we're playing as if the current ban list has yet to be lifted, right? We're playing with Marco at 1, we're playing with Whitebeard at 1. If those numbers were lifted and changed and manipulated, then yeah, we can edit the deck a little bit and make it a slight bit stronger. And honestly, if they put Whitebeard to 4, I don't know. I mean, you probably would just not play Pell, honestly, because Newgate and Pell are basically the same card. It is a big thing that can be removed that has a continuous removal effect. And Newgate's just harder to remove and stupid. So maybe Pell doesn't have a home if that were to happen. But for now, he does. So we are maxing out on Ace. It is the reason that we play Ace. Like, this is basically a Luffy leader, right? The same deck you would play as a Luffy, as mono red Luffy. The main drawaway or the main take that you want to play Ace for is because you get to play character Ace instead of the 5-drop Luffy. That's like the big difference. And this guy is a hell of a card. If you've ever played Ace, you just know how powerful it is. The fact you have a 7 for 7 that has Rush, that also removes the board, is fantastic. I even played this in a VV deck for 9, it still felt good. The card is just that good. Not only that, you get to play Marco. Marco in this deck, because you have such a large Whitebeard Pirates package, is almost always unkillable. Edward Newgate is just an abomination, and we're compensating for the lack of defense with Fossa, right? Similar to how Whitebeard, and when they took away Marco, opted to play Fossa, we took a page from their book. Other than that, you know, we're playing, I think, 12 2K counters, maxing out on Otama, Jozu, and Makino, which is really, really good. We have a lot of defense in forms of Radical Beam plus Guard Point, and then we've got a lot of removal in the form of Fire Fist, Round Table, Flame Emperor, and Crossfire. Right now, these numbers can move around however you so choose. If you're seeing a lot more aggro, you can add more Fist. If you're seeing a lot more tall decks, then Round Table is good. So it really depends on how you want to shift the events around, but the rest of the deck, I would say, is pretty set in stone. My favorite thing to do with this deck is go first. You have a fantastic 1-3-5 curve. You can go buggy into, what do you do for 3? Well, you can attack. You can always go attack, play Curly D, another 1-drop, and you have 3 cards on the board, and then to Appel. That feels great. If you go after that, you have 7-9. Your odd curve is fantastic. Your even curve isn't that bad either. And honestly, I do think the meta favors this leader just a little bit. These slower decks, it's going to be a grind, but Ace can really grind with them because you have such powerhouses of cards. Obviously, Red Rock is a huge issue because once you summon these, you know, you kind of force them to play it on Portgas D Ace or Newgate, but if they start 3000 worlding your Pels on curve, it starts to get a little iffy. But if they do start lacking on bombs and have heavy removal, then maybe you can just squeeze the win through that. So let's go ahead into some games. Let's see what Ace can do, and maybe I'll make you an Ace believer yet. So let's go. So for our first game of the video, we're going to be playing versus Don Quixote do Flamingo, the Grupple version, with my low Ace deck. Now, I think this is a pretty decent matchup for Ace, right? If we are playing so much removal, like this Flame Emperor, these Round Tables, the Ace character card himself, yeah, it's going to be in a good spot. So I do get to do the classic Ace turn of play a 1-drop and then 5-5 my opponent. He does end up going on the even curve, which is a little bit better for him. I'm going to go ahead and clear my Ezo there for free. But Ezo went ahead and did his job. So I don't have any plays here, unfortunately, but I'm just going to hit him for 9. See if he takes this one. I mean, he probably should take this one in all honesty. After playing the Flamingo leader, I now understand that that is just a way that you kind of do it. So my opponent goes ahead and attacks me for 5. Plays the Diamante. Should probably attack me for 5 on the Uda as well. Goes and hits me for 6. Which is, I mean, that makes sense. Don't dislike this play at all. Then my opponent's going to go ahead and pass me the turn. Has 2 Dawn up, and life is good, right? But I do get to play the Ace here. And I go ahead and 5 the Uda. Now, this is kind of a little bit of a mistakey poo from me, because there is a film event that this could be played. He can also just, like, use a regular event. Do get to clear the Uda here, and then pass it back to my opponent. I didn't want to keep giving him cards in hand, especially in a deck that plays so many events. I guess to just play as much, like, counter power as they get to. Very easily. So I'm going to go ahead and defend this Ace, right? He's my only character. He's going to have to do something. Hit me for 5? Heck yeah. I'll take another card in my hand because I'm just so greedy. I like cards in my hand. And then he's probably going to end up playing a Luffy here. Hopefully he doesn't have like Luffy Brook Nami, but he just summons the Tesoro, which I feel a lot better about, honestly. I'm kind of deciding what I want to go ahead and do here. And I opt to go ahead and just play the Whitebeard. I mean, there's no way I'm not going to just, you know, play Ace into Whitebeard. That's if you have those cards in your deck, you might as well just do it. So I'm gonna go 7-7. I don't want to go ahead and give him another chance to like play a 2K. He opts to take the hit, which is weird. He had 4 Dawn up and chose not to do much with it. He's gonna go ahead and play the Doflamingo here, and expecting him to go to this much Dawn, it's very important to go ahead and do that. He goes ahead and attacks, but doesn't apply any Dawn because he can. I'm gonna go ahead and round table, apply 2 Dawn to my Flamingo, to my Whitebeard. He's going to block with the Diamante, pop his Flamingo, and then I'm going to go ahead and play a Buggy. Buggy's going to go ahead and find me a Flame Emperor, and then I'm going to play a blocker and pass. Now I do have enough Dawn up for a guard point. He's going to go ahead and just use Flamingo to stop my characters, and then I'm kind of deciding what I want to do here. I do have an out for the Flamingo in form of Otama Flame Emperor. I could also just like Crossfire Flame Emperor, which is most probably what I'm going to opt to do anyways. I'm trying to decide here exactly what I want to do with the rest of my turn. I probably should give him an event here. I'm going to go ahead and see if I draw, and I do end up drawing a card here instead. I do take the life, Goes back to my turn. I get the Radical Beam, so I have a lot of just great events in my arsenal at this point in time. I'm going to go ahead and just... Yeah, this is a lot of Dawn investment, unfortunately. That's the thing that sucks about it. Pitching the Otama there does kind of hurt, but it is what it is. Probably should have given him the guard point, in all honesty. But didn't know I was going to draw into a Radical Beam, so there's that. And I'm trying to decide if I do need to clear it, or do I just ignore it, try to set up a Pell. What do? Maybe I Flame Emperor the Grand Tesoro. I mean, he's Grand Tesoro'd me twice, right? So he's gotten a little bit of value off of it. I'm going to go ahead and just make it so that this Grand Tesoro is easy for me to go ahead and clear. Now, if he does have the film event card here, we're going to be in a terrible spot, right? Because he's going to be able to go ahead and just defend it. I'm going to play my Pell, and I'm just going to pass it back to my opponent. This allows me to set up to remove his Flamingo, plus apply pressure, plus gaming. He's going to go ahead and attack my Buggy. I'm not going to defend this. There's no reason to. Let's see if he plays another Flamingo. I mean, chances are pretty likely that he will. I think attacking the ace is quite a bit of a mistake, right? Because I can defend that a lot easier than I can defend my leader. Then he plays Luffy into Uda, which is not a third Flamingo, so that feels good. And then he passes it back to me. Now, we get to do a lot here, right? So I'm trying to figure out exactly how I want to go ahead about doing this turn. Crossfire is not enough to go ahead and reduce the Flamingo by it to put him into Pell nor Edward Newgate's range, so I'm not interested in crossfiring him at this point in time. I could also Flame Emperor this Luffy and then just like manually attack this this dude just like this. Gonna attack, push through the Uda, push through the Luffy, hit him for 7, 12. It gives me 2 cards. Let's hit him for 7. This does play into Punk Gibson quite a bit, honestly, since I'm tapped out. He restands his Flamingo. I was gonna kind of see how he felt about that. Go 10. Gives me some more cards, and then I'll hit him for 8. I think I was just gonna completely dump my hand if he took that hit, but that would have been quite bad for me. So he's gonna go ahead and rest my blocker. Hit me for 9. That doesn't seem like a good number, right? Because I can just pitch all this crap. Yeah, I'm going to end up keeping the Crossfire because I think that just enables either my Pell or my Newgate. The fact that he only has 1 more attacker is just not good enough. And on to the next game. We're playing versus Crocodile. And we opt to go first. So we're going to go ahead and play Izo here. Izo is going to go ahead and find us a Fire Fist. Not really much. We weren't really burdened by choice there, which is oftentimes what happens. So I'll go ahead and attack my opponent for 5. We won't be doing the classic 5-5 this time because we do have Curly Dodon. Curly Dodon's going to go ahead and find me the Buggy. Then I'm going to go ahead and play this Buggy. Buggy's going to go ahead and find me a Crossfire. I do have the Pell, so I'm going to value that over the guard point at this point in time. I'm trying to figure out exactly how I want it. And there we go. We stack it. And now I do just have a lot of combo. My opponent goes 6 at my face. Hopefully he doesn't send Tamaru here. And he does, which kind of makes me not want to play the Pell in a sense. But since I do have the Fire Fist, I just don't think it warrants me to care enough. And I will allow him to get 1 turn of Sentamaru, and then, we'll see what he does. He's going to go ahead and 3,000 Worlds away my Pell. Sad. He's going to hit me for 7. But if he 3,000 Worlds my Pell, he can't use Sentamaru, which is, I guess, okay. I do get another Pell, which is nice. And now, do I want to replay the scenario? I'm not necessarily sure that I do. But I guess I do opt to. I go 5, 5, and then I just hit him with the Pell. Now, the Buggy swinging is a little precarious. The only reason I think I chose to is because, funnily enough, I think Sentamaru is a slash character, so it would net the leader to attack my Buggy. But I probably should have just invested into Curly Dodon, especially with Makino in my hand. So, I don't know. My hand's just so big that I don't even know what to do with it, man. I don't know how to care. He's going to Red Rock away my dude. Basically the same thing that happened on the following turn. We're just like replaying the turn. He's going to attack me for 7. I think I just opt to take this. I don't really care that much. Not in any danger. And now I have double Makinos. I have Buggy, I have Izo, I have Flame Emperor. You know what? Get this out of my board. Actually, 9. Give me 2 cards, take 2 cards. Who cares? Then I'll play Makino, pump the buggy, 6. You know, or just screw it. Yeah, so that was a very explosive turn from me. My opponent has no board, so I think Makino on this is absolutely fine. He's going to go ahead and swing at the Makino. He's going to play like a assortment of cards here. I don't really know exactly what's good for him, and this is probably the best line because it develops 2 bodies as opposed to just going like Mihawk. Mihawk would have been terrible. This is probably the best case scenario for him, although keeping 1 Dawn up is irrelevant, but not like he really needed it in all honesty. I think I'm just going to Fire Fist him. I think that's just the way to do it. That's just the way it's going to be. I'm going to go ahead and Fire Fist and push the Sentomaru and the Miss All Sunday away. You can keep the Pacifista. I'm cool with it. And I'm just going to attack him with these little weenies, right? Weenie beatdown, go. 5 at lead. He gives me a Zeph. 5 at lead. 5 at lead. I'm cosplaying as Zoro right now. Then I'm going to go ahead and play Buggy Izo just to replace my board. Going to grab a guard point. Play Izo. Going to grab Ace. Yeah, that card's good. Oof, Newgate. Ooh, another good card. Damn. Whew. They're both kind of crazy, but since I have so many 1-drops on the board, he's going to turn this Pacifista sideways, which is going to allow me to go ahead and use my Buggy to declare an attack on it. So I decided to go for the Ace instead. He's going to go Miss All Sunday. Who gives a crap? Hiya! We'll go ahead and Ace. An Ace is going to go and allow me to clear this Pacifista. He's going to use Miss All Sunday to go ahead and acquire himself probably a Red Rock. He takes the 7. I play a blocker and I pass. And these 1-drops, I mean, since he can't really deal with them, I'm just going to turn them sideways. But it's going to be a really tough turn for my opponent. He does have 2 blockers, 4 cards in hand. Goes ahead and uses the Kaido. Now, Kaido is a great answer to Ace in specific because, you know, as opposed to allowing me to just continue to ace you turn after turn, this does give him a little bit of leeway, which is exactly what he wants. He's going to go ahead and bounce back my Izo just to remove as many threats from the board as physically possible, but I'm just not afraid of anything. Just going to go ahead and hit him for 7. He gets the 3,000 worlds to his hand. Go hit him for 5. He gives me a 2K. I'm going to go ahead and play Izo. He's going to go ahead and find me probably the Crossfire is what I need. Crossfire does allow me to push Kaido within range of Flame Emperor, so I decided to go with that, and I play a blocker and I pass. I have so much defense in my hand that my opponent, I guess, just gets scared and leaves. Okay. And for our last video, we got to showcase a Rebecca match. You know how it is in OP-04. And I'm not... I don't know. It's like a good matchup, but it's also a bad matchup. Anyone understand how that feels? Like, there are scenarios where the matchup feels fine, and that's when like they don't have their Sabos. And then when they do have Sabo, the matchup feels very bad. So I'm going to start off by going Buggy. Buggy's going to find me Radical Beam. Why put it to 1 when I can always find it, right? I'm going to attack him for 5, and then hit him for 5 again. And then it's between play a Buggy or play an Izo. And I think at this point in time, I don't need events. I need specific cards. And because of that, I'll choose to play the Izo. Try to find myself like an Ace or a Whitebeard or something along that nature. He opts to take both hits, which is super weird. Me playing the Buggy is troll, but that's fine. That's what we're here for the commentary, to find out exactly how I trolled. The Flame Emperor feels like a great card, right? I don't think I can give up on it, but since I have 2 Pels in my hand, maybe the the Round Table is good enough. So I'm not really sure, and I end up deciding on the Flame Emperor. Again, it's a very powerful card in this matchup, so I don't blame previous Yadam for doing it. This is a slash character, so that is hilarious. I just allow it to go through, and yeah, Buggy beatdown. It is, I guess. So I'm gonna go attack my opponent for 5. No effect. See how they respond. I mean, they most definitely should counter out of this. They can't just keep randomly taking life like this. So they pitch an Orlumbus, which may or may not be a mistake. Orlumbus is one of the most important cards in that deck in general. One of the cards that I usually end up seeing players hold more often than not. He's going to go ahead and pitch that one, but I guess it is what it is. He does probably have another Kyros, and if he doesn't, this Buggy is just going to kind of stick there, man. For better or for worse. So I go ahead and I play the Pel, and I guess like the worst possible scenario that can happen would be like a Trueno Bastardo, I think, would be able to KO him. 3,000 worlds. Anything along those lines would be pretty crappy. Red Rock would, even though it doesn't feel good, it's the best case scenario because it goes ahead and removes like all his Dawn, so they don't get to like Red Rock plus develop a Rebecca or something along those lines. So my opponent takes quite some time here to decide what he wants to do with his turn, and eventually finds out that it's Sabo. So Sabo's going to go ahead and draw him 2 cards. Going to pitch a Coliseum, name a more iconic duo. Well, I guess Queen plus Oniga, right? He's going to go ahead and pitch Trento Bastardo, which is weird, right? You let me keep the Pel, but it's very similar because now Sabo does protect his board, so it's like my Pel doesn't get to attack anyways. So back to my turn. What do? I think I just want to kind of like attack my opponent for 6. Develop another Pel, and then play an Ezo. That seems like a solid turn. I'm gonna be real with y'all. So I'm gonna play Ezo. Ezo's gonna find me Crossfire. I do need something to work with these Pels. I'll play another Ezo. It's gonna find me Fire Fist, probably. I don't think I would choose Fossa here. I don't think I'm in any need to get a blocker. And I think Fire Fist is also a 1k counter. Man, previous Yadam is just trolling. But I'm probably going to just hit him for 5 here. Hit him for 5 before you play the Pel. Hit him for 5 before you play the Pel. You don't know! Well, it is what it is, huh? So I could have attacked for 5, which is like probably procs a card in hand. He could block with Sabo, but then he lets me attack into his Sabo with my Pel with 5 Dawn active, which is most certainly KOing his Sabo. This now allows me to play into like a Luffy, because now if he goes Luffy and goes attack into my Pel, it's going to force cards out of me, and since most of my hand is events, they're probably going to get cleared. At least one of them is going to get cleared. So he's going to attack me for 5. I take. No trigger. Not going to use a Crossfire's ability. Do want as many Crossfires as I possibly can get. He does get the Luffy here. He goes 8 at it. And this is exactly what I was talking about. Going to be able to defend Luffy just a little bit. And he lets it stay sitting, which is really good for me. Like, absurdly good for me. So I got to go ahead and reduce it. I get to play a swing at this little Kyros, pop the Luffy. Now this seems like a mistake as well, because I could have reduced the Sabo, swung at the Luffy for 7, popped the Sabo, and then like seen how he reacted, and then move on from that. I'm going to go ahead and crossfire the Sabo. Going to swing at the Kyros once again, pop the Sabo. You're going to have to give me some cards eventually, man. But you see how like this could have just gone face, and he would have had to give me like 5 cards. This is terrible. I don't like this. I don't like where this is going. Then I'm going to 5 him again. He's going to give me a Sabo. He's going to have to give me another card here, right? And my opponent just disconnects. He doesn't want to defend this. So we're back with the deck, and yeah, it's pretty good, man. It's pretty good. I didn't really have to search for too many games. Those were like literally the first couple games that I played with the deck. The deck just does so well into a slower format. As you can see by the videos that I got here, you had Doflamingo, Rebecca, and Crocodile, which are all slower decks, you can argue, that basically get new life in this new set, right? So these decks have a lot of, they're just a little bit slow on the tempo, and if I can just keep my removal up with these big dudes, well, you're just doing red things at that point. And you can really capitalize on the power level of these cards. Initially, pound for pound, these cards are just unheard of, right? You know, Buggy being on, you know, can't be killed by Slash. Pel is just big. You got Ace, which is ridiculous. Edward Newgate. You have Infinite Searching. You know, you have a huge hand size, a lot of counter power, a lot of removal, and big dudes. What more can you ask for? Like I said, I mean, I'm really enjoying this list. There isn't really much I would move around. The only thing that I would recommend you, if you're not enjoying the list in and of itself, is switching around the events, maybe moving around some 2Ks if you want. And obviously, if the ban list were to get changed for OP-04, we'll be back here viewing this deck and seeing what it can do under the new card restrictions. So I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button. If you have any comments or anything you want to say about Ace, hit me in the comment section. Am I coping? Am I not coping? Is it a good leader? Who knows? And as always, guys, if you're enjoying this One Piece TCG content, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys on the next one.